So hi guys, today in this video we are just going to talk a lot about resumes, and for this we are having a very special guest with us, Puneet Kohli, who is a machine learning engineer at Apple and is currently located in California, USA. He is also mentoring with an organization called FAANGPath, where he used to give one-to-one mentorship, guidance and various other resume related tips to students like us and you. So let's just go dig in deep and try to find out all the various secrets which can be explored regarding resumes. Okay, so let's start with the interview. So the very first question I wanted to ask you is, okay, what is the candidate shortlisting process? Like from the part where a student submit the resume and to getting the interview call. What is the whole procedure that goes within?
That's a great question, Anshika. So actually, when you are referred to a role or if the recruiter reaches out to you directly, then those are kind of the scenarios where you do bypass a lot of this process because, someone has already vouched for you and you don't need to go through this screening process. Especially if the recruiter reached out to you, then it's the same as though they found you in that list from the ATS. Instead, they found you somewhere else, for example, on LinkedIn or through, a blog post you might have written. Adding to that, I think I want to roughly say 80 to 90% of the time you will be applying online in the off-campus scenario. And in those cases, you will go through this process.
I just want to add one more thing. Like while you were giving the previous answer, you told a very interesting point about on-campus and off-campus selection. So do you think like if a student is applying through off-campus, he needs to have like certain more things in his resume as compared to the on-campus one? And I want to ask you what additional he can add so that his resume shortlisting is like for sure ki yes, my resume is going to be shortlisted.
Yeah. I wish there was like a magic formula where, yes, add this to your resume and you will get shortlisted. Unfortunately, there is no magic formula like that. But there are certain things that you can do to improve your chance of getting selected for a particular job description. And so, like we mentioned, just a little bit before, that the process is actually keyword based. And so if you know that it's keyword based, what you can then do is look at the job description and see what skills they are asking for. A very simple example is if this job description asks for Python development experience, then make sure in your resume you have showcased how you have Python development experience. Similarly, if they ask for, experience with AWS or Google Cloud, then do show how you have that experience in the resume. Also, because the resume is not, meant to show everything you've done in your career, you have to pick and choose. And this is one of the best way to pick and choose is like, look at the job description, see what they're asking for, and try to match your resume to that job description.
The things which you said, no, I am sure ki we all can relate to, but I know I have just passed out and जैसे मैं कोई क्वेश्चन पूछती हूँ ना तो there is a kind of answer I am expecting and I am very sure कि students भी शायद वो expect कर रहे होंगे तो let me just ask that on behalf of them. So I wanted to ask is na कि we commonly we hear a lot of some terms like competitive programming, online certifications, and this all things are just hyped in our mind ना कि अगर resume बना रहे हैं तो ये चीज़ें तो हमें add करनी ही करनी है. तो can you let me know like how much weightage does it carry, or seeing those fancy terms in our resume, how does the resume shortlisting becomes more easy or something like that?
Yeah. So I'll just speak from my own experience, right? I've looked at like thousands of resumes. So for me, as somebody who's doing this day in, day out, I've developed filters, right? So if you're trying to showcase fancy terms and think that, it will impress the other person, that may not necessarily be true. Ideally, what works is, show me what you do know. Like if you've done some projects, like, and also not just any project, but project you are really passionate about that you did from, your own interest or passion, that you can really, for example, if I talk to you about that project, I want to see a smile on your face. I want to see you light up and say, yes, 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 I've done this project actually. And this is what I did. And, those kind of things. Versus like you did some certification or you went to some webinar where they gave you a certificate. Rather than putting that on your resume, putting things you've actually done and showcasing them in the correct way is what I think is more important than having just fancy words.
Okay, but not just fancy words. Like what I meant here was na ki like there are two kind of students you can take. The one is ki who have done a lot of competitive programming. Like he is having a very good ranks in the competitions over code chef, code forces, and all of that. And there is a other student who is not very good in competitive programming, but he has a decent knowledge of traditional problems like you see in like lead code, GFG, and all of that. He has not done competitive programming that much. So definitely when they both will present their resume, in one section you will see a lot of CP, I mean knowledge, and in the other one you will see comparatively less. So do you think the person A will be getting a more advantage, or like can you say this thing ki definitely you should do competitive programming because it is going to add more weightage or kind of that?
Sure. So what happens when we come on campus, right, for resume shortlisting? Usually we follow like a point-based system, and each again company does their own thing. So in general, what happens is we look at the resume and we assign points. For example, if you hold a position of responsibility in some club of your university or college, then we might say, okay, each position of responsibility is 5 points. Any awards, any hackathon, 10 points. Let's say any internship, 20 points. And we'll just create this rubric, right? Based on this, we'll say, okay, so if this person, does all these things, again, we'll just stack rank, but manual stack ranking. And so competitive programming, again, each company might decide points for it based on whatever criteria they have. And for your specific example, you said where there's one student with competitive programming and other with, just traditional geeks for geeks, lead code kind of stuff. It depends. I don't know if student B maybe is also, the head of the chess club, and maybe we should give him some credit for that. Or maybe student B also won, a national level debate competition. And so we want to basically always try to make sure that we see the full profile of the candidate and not just one aspect.
So this brings to me a very other aspect of this. Like recently, I had a conversation with Gaurav sir. I mean regarding resume only, and I have also uploaded that video. So there he said, "Ki maybe I'm very good at chess, but if I write that in my resume, I mean." You just write what is necessary. If you are unnecessarily going to write ki you are very good at sports or this and that, so it is not going to help you in getting that job. Like if you are applying to be a software engineer at Microsoft, how is a cricket competition going to help you there? So what is your take on this?
Definitely. I think when Gaurav gave that advice, he was totally on point. Especially when you're applying for like jobs online in the ATS scenario, then if you spend like 3 or 4 lines of your resume talking about how you are so good at chess or cricket, you basically lost the opportunity to stack rank higher, because you've basically missed out keywords and you've missed out the professional experience that you could have used to rank higher in that job description. But the way it does help, in my opinion, is I always encourage each resume to have a section, any one of these sections, either the leadership or the volunteering or the awards and recognition, right? And that depends on, again, what you've done in your career as a student and whatnot. But for example, if you were the head of the chess club, I would put that as kind of a leadership activity. And not just mention that you were the head of the chess club, but also give me some like insights. For example, as the head of the chess club, I led weekly team meetings and practice sessions for the past 2 years with 50 plus members in my club. So this shows me as the person reading the resume that, okay, you are having leadership instinct, you have been doing this consistently over 2 years, and you've managed a group of 50 people, which is a commendable thing. So if you can say something like that as opposed to head of chess club, I think that would be, where the value is.
Okay, so I think the same story, there is a different perspective. Like you just told this very nicely. Like for audience, I want just to clarify once. Ki it's not ki you don't keep their like. I am taking both the cases, like what Gaurav sir told and what Puneet is currently saying. They both are not saying कि basically you should not put anything related to chess, or you should not put anything related other than your software development. But what they just want to say is कि if you are putting something, put it out intelligently. Do not unnecessarily waste your one page resume. Highlight the important aspects, and after that when you are getting some spaces or you want some additional sections to be added there, so in that case you just go and add. As well as when you are adding, like Puneet gave the example now, when he added that complete line, maybe he would have used somewhere something related to I led the team or something like that. And suppose that job description also had, I mean the job which you were applying, they were also having a keyword of leadership. Like this is certain qualities company generally look for. So in that case, probably your resume is going to be short. I mean, getting an extra point. Ki, yeah, this person is having a leadership skills. So also one thing, Puneet, like you told a very interesting fact about that pointing system. कि हमें हर चीज़ के पॉइंट्स मिल रहे होते हैं. सो फ्रॉम माई परस्पेक्टिव व्हाट आई एम गेटिंग इज कि अगर किसी बंदे ने कॉम्पिटिटिव प्रोग्रामिंग की है और उसके पास सर्टेन अचीवमेंट्स हैं वहाँ पर कि इस पर्टिकुलर कॉम्पिटिशन में उसने इतना अच्छा स्कोर किया है, तो ही इज गोइंग टू हैव सर्टेन एडिशनल, आई मीन एन एज ओवर द अदर पर्सन. So in that case we can say to students ki yaar competitive programming if you are doing, so that is basically going to help you in your programming skills as well as in your resume selection. So you should look forward to that aspect also of coding, because that is gradually going to boost you only.
Correct. And also in the interview process, I think it's a very valuable skill to have, because the interviewers, are always coming up with creative ways to ask questions. And if you've just been doing these type of questions regularly through competitive programming, it will help you also ace the interviews. So I think it's a very good skill to have.
ग्रेट. ऑल्सो एक चीज़ मैं यहाँ पे पुनीत से पूछना चाह रही हूँ. लाइक रिसेंटली आई हैड अ कन्वर्सेशन विथ यू. आपने वहाँ पर कुछ हमें फॉन्ट साइज के बारे में बताया था, गैप्स के बारे में बताया था रेज्यूमे के दोनों साइड. लाइक कैन यू गिव ऑडियंस मोर डिटेल अबाउट दोज फॉर्मेटिंग?
Yeah. So about formatting, this is more now coming to the human aspect of resumes, right? It's very difficult to read a lot of people's resume, and one of the most obvious reason is the font is too small. And I know many candidates who are seeing this will say that they have made the font small so that they can fit more content into the one page. But ideally the font size should be minimum 11, because that's been proven to be, the like ideal font size that we as humans can read comfortably. And so 11 font size is decent. It's not huge, it's not too small, and that's good enough for you to still fit a lot of content in the one page. Regarding margins, it's generally recommended like 1/2 inch to 1 inch margin on either side, so top, bottom, left, right. The goal is you want me to actually read your resume, and so the easier you make it for me to read, the more I will read.
Okay. So I wanted to say one thing, like रिलेटिंग टू द फैक्ट कि आपने मेरे को बहुत सारे डिटेल्स बता दिए. लाइक मैं एक स्टूडेंट की तरफ से बात कर रही हूँ, तो मेरे दिमाग में एक चीज़ चलती रहती है ना यार, कि इतने सारे चीज़ भी अगर मैं रिज्यूमे में ऐड कर लूँगी ना, तो अभी देर इज़ आई एम नॉट श्योर कि मेरा रिज्यूमे अभी भी सिलेक्ट होगा कि नहीं होगा. क्योंकि वाइल आई वॉज ऑल्सो इन द कॉलेज ना, आई यूज टू अप्लाई अ लॉट ऑफ, आई यूज टू अप्लाई लॉट थ्रू ऑफ कैंपस. क्योंकि ऑन कैंपस we were having certain limited companies, so I thought ki let's go and apply through off campus. But very genuinely Puneet, I could say ki just through the resume shortlisting process, I don't think I got shortlisted even in a single company. Like I got shortlisted in all those companies who used to take the first written round. जो हमारा पहला coding round होता था ना, I used to clear that. And after that, I definitely used to get the interview calls from very good companies, like companies Amazon, Goldman Sachs, like those companies. But अगर मैं सीधे resume submit कर देती थी ना, तो there is like I say, I will say 99.9% time, I used to not get selected over in those companies. So, what you would like to say? Like, ऐसा होता है सबके साथ, या मैं रिज्यूमे कुछ ऐसा गंदा सा बना दे रही होती थी कि सेलेक्ट होता ही नहीं था?
नहीं तो I think Anshika, there's two parts, right? First is I think you made a great effort to at least apply offline, and that's actually why I think it's important for us to do our job of educating people about how they can improve and do better when applying to companies off campus. और ये बहुत कॉमन चीज़ है एक्चुअली जो होता है सबके साथ. In my case, I have applied to maybe 100 or 200 companies and I hear back from like 3 companies just based on resume.
आई एम वेरी ग्लैड टू हियर दैट. लाइक मेरा थोड़ा ना इंफीरियोरिटी कॉम्प्लेक्स अभी जा रहा है कि सबके साथ होता है.
अच्छा लगा, मेरा कलेजा ठंडा हो गया.
हाँ नहीं, ये सबके साथ होता है and it's very important to understand because you should not get demotivated, right? It's easy to like just keep applying and you don't hear back for weeks, and sometimes you'll even start getting rejection letters from companies. Some companies are so notorious, they might even send you the rejection letter same day or next day. But mostly the reason for that is we have to remember that there's a huge number of people applying to these jobs, like in the order of thousands, if not more. So we are one among those 1,000 and we're all being stack ranked based on the job description. So for that, we need to make sure we optimize for the specific job description. And secondly, because there's so many people applying, it's simply a game of numbers. If we apply to 100, we'll rank high in 10 of them, and out of 10 maybe in 2 of them the recruiter will see our resume, and out of those 2 in 1 of them they might give us a call. So there's just these things we have to remember, and we have to keep ourselves motivated. Hopefully the fact that me and you, Anshika, both of us had this experience, other people will take that positively and not get demotivated.
Yeah, definitely. Like one thing throughout my life up till now, I have believed is कि just take that effort. Like you just do apply at the companies, just cold email someone. Like wherever you want to just mark yourself, I mean outstand yourself ना. Just take that little effort of कि कोई बात नहीं भी होगा ना तो भी I am going to do that. I know कि शायद बहुत कम chances हैं होने के, तो भी still let's do that. Maybe I get that extra edge over something and I just get shortlisted. So definitely this is a very good point to keep.
That's very true, Anshika.
So Puneet, I have heard this that in the resume, most important point or part for a fresher is internships and projects. So can you elaborate this process a bit, like how, and I mean even if we are putting internship or a project in our resume section, basically how we should put it, like what should be the exact content we should be putting it?
So internships is kind of just same as work experience if you are a professional. Why internship is important, first of all, in terms of shortlisting your resume, is because it's a simple mindset of the reader of the resume. So me on the other side, I'm saying, oh well, if 2 other people already selected this person, they must be good to some degree, right? If XYZ company and ABC company decided to hire Anshika as an intern, then she must be good enough to at least clear 2 interviews. So let's give them a chance with our company. So that's why interviews are important. Internships are important to put in the resume if you've done them, for sure. How to structure your internship work is very simple, right? First of all, understand what you've done and put it in this 3 kind of phases, right? Tell me what you did, tell me how you did it, and tell me what the impact was or the results were. So let me give you an example. What you did: built a Java-based application and REST API for healthcare processing, right? It can be whatever it is you've done in that company. And then that's what you did. How you did it: using Spring, HTML, CSS, and JSON, and some other parsers. use, and so basically that's how you did it. What technologies did you use? What tools did you use? And then what was the impact, or what was the results? So this can be anything like, this was implemented and integrated into the production product, or this is being deployed to hundreds of people, or my implementation or my algorithm is 10% better than previous algorithm. Quick point around internship is many people will say that I don't know how to define the results or the impact of my work, especially as an intern. So there are a couple of tips around how to do that. You can either just talk to your team, whoever you worked with, and ask them like, what is the impact of this work? If this goes into production, kind of what is the result that we will see? Or if you just build like a POC or small demo, then even that has some impact or result, right? The result could be qualitative. It could be that this demo was shown to the VP of product engineering, or this demo was shown to a large group of 300 people in the audience, or something like that. But it's important for you to identify what the impact or result of your work was. Now, coming to the project part, in terms of why it's important is because, again, it shows that you've worked on skills, you've worked on things that are either maybe within or outside the scope of the curriculum, but also more relevant to what's in the industry. As we know, a lot of the computer science curriculum doesn't necessarily match one-to-one with industry. And so having the projects which are more relevant to industry help us as interviewers feel that, hey, this person has some skills, they have done a project in React.js. So if they come to our company and I think we give them a React.js job, they can do it. Otherwise, it shows you have good aptitude for learning, it shows you're motivated, it shows all sorts of things that it can possibly show. In terms of how to put it, again, try to do the same thing if possible. What you did, how you did it, if possible, impact and results. If it's an open source project, or you have a video, or it's like a hackathon project, show some link if you can, so that I can actually click it and look at more details about the project if possible.
Yes, I mean, this is the exact thing. Even when I used to put those things in my project or internship, I have not put it like that. I mean, the project of mine used to be of just 2 lines where I'll say ki I have used this, and I have just made it. And I have seen ki various other students, like my friends or people around me, they also used to put those things like that only. No one comes to understand ki, okay, if we are putting that project section, so we will be putting it like, one thing I had seen, I just put the template which you gave me, I just put those templates also on my Instagram. So there we discussed a thing, ki if you are putting the project thing, you can also probably add a section like this particular technologies you have used here. These are the inferences which you have got, like the result portion which you were talking about, and I have made it using these technologies. So like moving to this very specific detail I'm asking you, I'm sure मुझे ये चीज़ पहले पूछनी चाहिए थी पर मैं एंड में पूछ रही हूँ, but it's fine. Let me know one thing, Puneet, कि should we make our resume using a doc, follow some templates, or use it making latex? Like, what do you say?
Yeah, so I know there's a lot of mixed opinion on this. So whatever I'm going to tell you is just my opinion. So please don't, people don't bash me in the comments for saying certain things. But I personally believe you should use LaTeX because it takes care of all the formatting issues for you. Like, you don't need to, worry about, oh, I added this sentence now, like it's out of margin, or, you saved it and something and some errors happened. I think with Microsoft Word, and like these doc formatters in general, I found that the amount of effort required to get the format correct is just like way too high. Even though you can put the content very fast, there's no issues, everybody knows how to use the software. It's just the amount of overhead of like dealing with format is just too high. But my personal recommendation to anyone that can, you should try to use LaTeX. There's also some, resume building tools that are available online, which directly you can basically put the text in a text box and it will format in LaTeX format for you. You can also use those, but kind of I'm going in circles, but my general point is like, don't use Word unless you're really confident that you know exactly in and outs of Word and how to deal with any of these formatting issues. Because most of the resumes I have seen who have like small issues here and there that are like, if you see the resume first time, you can immediately notice those are made in Word. With LaTeX, it's less likely to have such errors.
Okay. And also I'd like to add one thing, like I also did not use LaTeX before. Like the time when Puneet shared with me those templates, at that time I only opened it for the first time, and when I did editing it was very simple to use. Like seeing the technology, it comes to our mind, it would be something difficult, but it is not at all. So people who are thinking of using it can definitely just go and see once. It's very easy to use. As well as of the templates which Puneet was talking about, I have already shared all those templates on my Instagram page. I'll be showing my Instagram username or all of those things in my description. You can just go and see those templates which are there. Also, one more thing I would like to add here, like when you see those templates now, you will see there is certain fonts which is not in, like Puneet, can you say which is the font should we use actually?
Yeah, so if you're using LaTeX, then Times New Roman, or if you're using Word, then Times New Roman or Arial. These are the two kind of standard fonts that people expect to see in the resumes. So preferably use one of these two fonts.
So that is what I wanted to point out. Like when you see those templates now, I have not used the font which Puneet suggested, but definitely when you edit it, use only those fonts. Do not copy that font. And rest all everything are already included in those templates. So ये हमारा पूरा content था, me and Puneet discussing about the A to Z of resumes. सो आई एम श्योर आप लोगों को कंटेंट अच्छा लगा होगा, और जो भी लगा हो आप कमेंट सेक्शन में आके ज़रूर से बता सकते हो. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट आप पुनीत को इंस्टाग्राम और लिंक्डइन पर भी फॉलो कर सकते हो. ही इज़ पुटिंग कॉन्टेंट्स रिलेटेड टू रेज्यूमे देयर, एज वेल एज वी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस्ड ही इज़ अ मेंटोर टू अ कंपनी कॉल्ड FAANGPath, जिनके बारे में मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन में लिंक कर रही हूँगी. सो इफ़ एनी वन ऑफ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड इन सर्विसेज लाइक आपको पर्सनल गाइडेंस चाहिए और मेंटोरशिप चाहिए रिलेटेड टू रेज्यूमे और एनीथिंग, तो you can just go and check it out. The link is in the description.
So I mean, yeah, thank you so much, Anshika, for organizing this session. My motivation to do this was really to reach out to as many people and try to kind of spread awareness about things to do and not to do in the resumes. I've conducted so many webinars and kind of same questions come up again and again. So I really hope that everybody watching this video does get value out of it. And it was great fun talking to you, and always your bubbly personality is great to be around and interact with. Thank you, Anshika.
Thank you, Puneet. Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.